Hello, welcome to Live Coding with Gerph, and I was a little late, I'm sorry. I got distracted doing something else and forgot. And, oh, I've got the wrong camera. Let's see if we can get the other camera working. Can we get the decent camera working? Whoa, I didn't check that beforehand. Properties, fancy camera, not so fancy, but, oh, yes, it's working. That's good. Cool, all right, that's much better. Yeah, back to here again, aren't we? Right, yes, I'm a little bit more bald now. Sean, as Spanner says. Yes, it was just too hot last week. Thankfully, it's not quite so hot today, but it is quite humid, so bleh. Yeah, so it does feel a lot better. It's much, much nicer. Anyway. So, where were we last week? Last week we were trying to do the last bits of the icon rendering. We were doing comparisons and making sure that things were right. So, in case anybody needs it and wants to follow along, here is the repository we're working in. And if we have a look in here, this is where we're doing things. No, it's not. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's the other one. This one here. Let's have a search. Then find icon. Icon isn't in there. Oh, it's not in phase 2. It's in phase 3. Meh. So one of the nice things is, look, we're all the way up at 93% now for phase 1. And things have moved along. In fact, if I'm one of these windows down here that you can't see, I can push. There we go. That'll go and update the latest status, and we'll get that one. I'll look at that in a second once it's finished updating. Icon rendering, here we go. So yeah, we are nearly there. We're nearly at functional, I think. We just need to go through and check what's actually going on here, because we've got plain borders, filled backgrounds, text in desktop fonts, and so on. So we've got to go and actually check these in 64-bit, make sure they're working. We're going to check some of these without within the 32-bit as well, just to make sure they're actually doing the right thing. So that's what we're going to be trying to do. Also, we had problems with the 64-bit version in that it wasn't even working. So in order to test this, we're going to need to check what's going on. And if I remember rightly, it was crashing in one of the icon plot routines, and I have a feeling, so if we do rm, it's not start to start, that's not a good idea. What am I wanting? Remove all the O files. Remove all the O files. RISC OS AMU build 64 equals 1. Yeah, there we go. So we'll build everything in 64-bit, and I have a feeling when we do this, we get a warning for one of the files that says it's what's the word? Let me just put this down here as well for you. That's the page I was just looking at. It's got a cast between an int incorrectly. I have a feeling that's what's gone wrong. Could be wrong, because it was when we crashed, it sort of looked like that. There we go. That one there, I think that's the one. I think that should be a cast to int 32. And since that's in the validation strings, that'd be me, not the AI. So that's kind of fun. That one's cast to pointer from integer of different size. Yeah, that's okay. Palette handling. CMHG header. This is building the module, that's good. And nothing else. Cool. So that's what it's doing. So if we do RISC OS build run, that looks like the right thing. That looks like the one we want. But that's the 32-bit version. We want to send the 64-bit version. RISC OS 64-bit AMU, 64. And that's it. Okay, so let's just run that, and I think we should get a very clear crash out of it. Oh, except I've renamed things, haven't I? It's no longer called makefile mod, it's just called makefile. I swapped them around so that the module was the primary. Dum, dum, dum. Sends it off to the build service, mod items. Yeah, you've also got to send it to the build service as 64-bit. Oh, no, that's not right. Double hyphen. Yeah, I know. Minus 64. I know what I'm doing. Hope you're all doing okay anyway. It's been rather warm here in the UK, so if you're from elsewhere, then hopefully you've been a bit cooler. Yay, we got a crash. Good. So this crash here is, if we look at it, so we're crashing. We don't have any more information about it. What we can do though is we can go and turn on some debugging just to prove what's actually going wrong here. So if we do command pyromaniac debug and we add in trace block. Now if I remember rightly, this takes a little bit longer to run when we do this, but it does give us the answer. I go module initialize. Now it's going through and going to try and plot things. This takes a little while if I remember rightly. There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Crashed. Right. And the bit that's important here is we're crashing. Here we've got x1 being loaded in this block. And if you have a look at x1, we will see that x1 is, that is not a valid value. In fact, that is 8-bit, is 8 bytes, 32-bit, and this is an extra bit. So that would be the equivalent of using a 64-bit value, although that does mean that it's not the right one, because I was thinking it was going to be that -1 check. So probably it's not that, which is cool. It means that we've got something else going wrong, which is good. So we're in convert length, string width, set colors. So we were trying to do set colors, then into string width and convert length, and then strlen. Okay, we can have a look around that and have a see what's going on, because clearly there's something not right there. There is also the actual one that we did know about. So there's this one here, this thing here, validation line 25. So that should be int32t. studint.h, and also any time that we've got any types that are ints, we're going to have problems with this, so we're going to have to check for that. Wonder if the types in here are using the wrong values. Have we got not that one? Types, here we are. Now these look like they're using int32s, not ints, so it looks like they're sensible to me. They're not going wrong, so we can worry about that less. Right, let's follow this through, shall we? We were looking at text render set colors. So text render set colors. Oh, so that was something that returned almost immediately. Then it called string width. So we must have been. You know what I can do? I can tell it to use a bigger debug size. List debug, list config trace. So it only lists certain instructions. Oh, we know it's in plot icon. We know it's definitely in plot icon. So that's actually kind of useful. Trace, output register, function registers, yes. Recent blocks 10. So we increase the recent block size. Oops, wrong way. Go to there. And I command pyromaniac config trace.recent blocks count 30. So I'll get bit more context when it fails. We could do full tracing, but that will be a little bit heavy. Oh, that's still in cast of pointed into a different size. Yes, that's fair enough. Although actually that shouldn't be -1, it should probably be FFFF, shouldn't it? And we'll make it a uint, and we'll actually AND it with OX. Really clear what we're trying to do here. So we got the crash. And where did we go? So convert length, string width, something setting, checking for bit 9. No, tested bits 1 was set. Clearing bit, leaving just bit 9. Okay. And then lots of other comparisons. Oh, that's pretty. Is that a loop? That's a loop, isn't it? It's going round a few times. Skipping things, looking for number 11. So this is searching for the 12 character data in there, I think. And this is clearly in plot icon. So let's go through from plot icon, shall we? Here's plot icon. We call set fonts, then we call plot icon render. I think we must have got into plot icon render then, since we've actually got some bits in here. But there was that 11 or 12 possibly it's looking for. So search for number 12. There we go. That looks like that. Oh, except this is doing some other bits. That's not the what it's doing here. So we look at this code and it's adding, are we up to there? If we are, go to the end, subtract, do a logical shift right, and what? This is doing some shifts on it and then checking for bit 0. Oh, very curious. I'm not sure what that's doing actually. I'm not sure it is this code here, because that doesn't look like it's actually checking for any of those things. But then it did call Hydrobe. That's Chris Williams. Where are we looking then? So we called into set colors and then we called convert length. So set colors. Ah, there we go. Set colors, and then in here we call string width with split. Was that looking like it? String width, not string width with split. But then we could have bounced over that code and come into here. That looks like it to me. Yeah, that looks like it. So it looks like the value we've got, the render text here, has come out as garbage. So let's have a look. Render text is being set to textstra. Textstra comes from text. Stra. Back. Get icon data pulls it out. Okay then, so get icon data is coming back with some pointer values. And it's coming out from here. Yeah. What the heck? Do we have dprintf in this? No, we don't. Okay, we'll just printf it for now. Oh, what am I doing? Where's it gone? Oh, I don't know. I've just jumped around all over the place. I was trying to undo the thing I just did, and it didn't do what I expected. Oh well. Printf. Get icon data. Text equals %p. Let's see whether we are actually getting the wrong values there, because we can quite easily check that and see what comes out. Yes, that's fine. Did I put a /n on the end? I did, yeah. Oh, except that's wrong. I want to print star text, not text, because that's just going to print where we're storing it, rather than, because there we go, that's the value, but that's not at all helpful. Run it again. There we go. I'll have to turn the fan on. It's actually getting a little warm in here. It says 24 degrees, which is actually not too bad at all. But let's just have a bit of air movement. Could make things a little bit better. Once initialized, and then rendering up to page 3. Boom. And what did we get? So at that point, it's correct. That's interesting, isn't it? So here we've got the correct value, but by the time we crash, we've got this value. So that's kind of cool. Which means, so we come all down here, don't we? Find textstr. So textstr goes into there, and then we assign it here. And by the time we've got to here, we've gone bang. Or by the time we get here, actually, isn't it? Which is curious. That's very strange. Maybe we just print it out here and see what's going on. Do we call any swis in this? No. Some copies there. Call map setup, no, nothing looks scary there. Okay. So it's possible we're overwriting it somewhere, but I'm not sure where. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll print it out here. And we'll copy the dprintf. Textstr icon render. Also validation str. Oops, str. There we go. Right, and I want to pinch the bits of debug code, which we'll find in here. There we are, some debug. So that needs to go at the top. Just here. Yeah, good. All right, build and run. Somebody not so long ago was cursing the fact that they had long build times and that they had to witter all the time because they were having to wait for things to build. I have a similar problem. I also witter anyway, so I mean it's not a lot of help really. Right, go bang again, as we expect. Validation string is fine at that point. I should have put a second one in later on, shouldn't I? Just to see whether it's become corrupted. Problems become opportunities, yes. My opportunity to bore you all to death. Border selection coloring, yeah, I think we've not done that yet. So we think it's probably around here we're going. Well, let's print it out here. You know, we've got some text, and I think we get to here, so let's just do it here as well. String width, that's the string width call, and this one up here is the set colors call. It's actually alignment, but Yeah, or text alignment. Here we go. Right. I wonder why we lose a function in there. It doesn't know what it is. It's probably because that function is too big and it's only got a small window it goes and looks backwards into. That's probably what's going on there. I could probably fix that, I suppose. Okay, and now, all right, so we've got, well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, but when it gets inside there, it's broken. Strussy spun. Oh, that's part of the printf function, doing stuff, printing things out, and then we come into the string width. And by the time we get to here, the thing that's been passed in is broken. That's kind of fun. Let's, I know what we'll do. Right, let me try and remember how to do this. List config trace, because I've forgotten already what was in there. It's trace points, isn't it? I want. So I want. Oh, and I don't know how they work. Actually, come to think of it, there's a special trace. That's the one. Yeah, I never remember how to do this. Right, a comma separate list of hex addresses or function names. That's fine. I can do it that way. Then just give it the function name. So let's go back to here. Whoops, too far. Command. Oh, of course, you can't see that because it's right at the bottom of the screen. There we go. There's a problem with putting me on the screen, apart from the fact that you have to see me. And that you can't see what's going on there. So pyromaniac config trace dot, what was it called? I've forgotten. It's trace points equals, and we've got 2 trace points we'd like to track. Oh, just string width. String width is probably a good one, actually, just using string width. There. Okay. Oops, no, not return at that point. End quote. Yeah, there we go. And then run that. So hopefully what will happen is we'll hit this trace point, and it'll then tell us what parameters it was supplied. Well, kind of. Right, so scroll up to here. Here we go. This is the trace point for string width. And the parameters we're given are, oh look, x1 has been given garbage. It has been given garbage. So string width is not working. So this is the printf function. This is new line. Text render string width. So as we come into this function here, whatever we're pulling in from x20 there, which we pulled off the stack there. No, not there. Sorry, this is what we've done. We've moved it from x1. That's now got garbage in it. And that was in the string width call here, which was this one. Ah, because it's render text we're actually doing here. Let's stick in render text then. Render text. And how is render text? I thought render text was just initialized. I didn't think there was anything special. Render text. I thought it was just, yeah. Oh, that's where it's something out from there. Oh. Render text equals textra. And here it equals password stra. if it was had a password character in place. Well, that's kind of weird, isn't it? That is kind of weird. Because texture we know is correct, and render text should be the same because it's not going to be doing anything else. Let's add it to the end here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's clear the screen here and just work from that. This seems like it's a stack smashing problem. I mean, I could be wrong here, but that's sort of what it feels like. I mean, that cast we had was probably not great, but yep, we finished good. Okay, back to the top. Right, render text. Ooh, render text is also that. But then when it comes to here, it's being passed as big number. Nah, that's weird. String width. It's definitely this one. Render text goes in there. String width. Okay, so string width must be doing something. It must be manipulating that value. So let us go into text render. Strings. What are those letters? I'm just looking for witches apparently. Right, so string width. Text comes in here. But but by the time it's got to here, it's got broken. It's telling us, isn't it? It's saying at this point it is not correct because that's where it's entering this function, and that value has come out wrongly. How can that be? So it can't be in this function, and it can't be here. Hang on. It would be embarrassing if my %p was only doing 8 bytes rather than 32, wouldn't it? That would be very, very embarrassing. If I had a bug in printf. Is it LX for 64-bit printf? Pretty sure it is. Man printf. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Stop it. Long printf. And 2 printf, please. 1. No, 1 is what I just had. That's the commands. It's 3. Get library functions. Thank you. Doing it again. LL it should be for a long, which is the one that I want. Okay, so let's make it a long. Pretty sure I've implemented these. I mean, pointer should always be 64-bit, otherwise it's not a pointer. I thought Swift was meant. So Dave says he spent 6 weeks chasing a data type mismatch in Swift project. I thought 6 weeks was Swift was meant to be a lot more type safe. Although I suppose if you subvert it, then maybe that could cause it. But I haven't spent any time with Swift. It was one of the many things that I've also not spent time on. You can still make logical errors, yeah, I suppose. Right, there we go. So text string, yes, it came in. My %p is broken. Well, that's a pain in the behind, isn't it? How are you meant to debug if your tools don't work? But it's my tools, my library. I can go and fix that. I'll fix it later. Right, now we need to find out where this is coming from, because that looks like it's actually coming out of get data. In fact, where is the get data one? Did I remove the one from get? I removed the one from get data. So text pointer, okay. Get icon data text equals %LLX, sprite equals %LLX, star text star sprites ID. There we go, so we get both of those. Oh, we probably want validation as well. Just let's get the validation. We can see how many of these are broken. I think the Dave just said yes. You can still make logical errors. It's not either not enough AI or maybe too much AI. One of those, which I think is probably fair. I mean, it's yeah, you can have AI check you, or you can just rely on AI. And this is what I'm doing in some of this code. I'm relying on it. And that's why it's broken. I wonder if that is the problem, because if that's coming back with the wrong value, then that would be why. Do I need to cast it through an int32 to begin with? But it shouldn't need to, because it already that is an int32 value. Right, let's have a see what we got back. Ooh, all the way up through this. Yeah, text came out as garbage. All right, so let's have a look at the types again. I did briefly look at the types, but then sort of saw that they were using the right things. Hang on, what is it? It's a Wimp icon. A Wimp icon contains a Wimp icon data. Well, that's fair enough. That'll be the one we were looking for. A Wimp icon data is a union that contains... No, it doesn't. No, if we put char stars in there, that's not going to work. That's what's going wrong. It's trying to... Oh dear, that's going to go very, very bad, isn't it? In fact, yeah, I'm going to have to make this a uint32t so that the structures all end up the right size. Maybe we should have a type that is for those things. Oh my gosh, this is probably going to make the code very bad. In fact, another one there. That's a menu one. That's going to go wrong as well. Oh, we shouldn't have menus. Oh, this is the full Wimp one. We don't need all of these. We can remove some later. Okay, but that means that the build will now fail badly. And that's why it's broken. Oh yes, it's like an eager intern you have to steer. Yes. On the downside, these type structures that I put together, they were created by me in the oslib parser. So it's kind of arguable that Maybe it's entirely my fault. Oh, that did lots of stuff. Oh, that means it might be working. Let me stop it. Let me stop it because it's got all the trace points in there. So it's hitting the trace points all the time. Yeah, we take out that trace point so it doesn't trace every single call to it. Dave says he's hit similar things in Chase HQ in C because he's mapping 16-bit addresses to a 64-bit app. Yes. Oh, let me stop the tea timer. 1 hour. There we go. It can remind me to have a break at in an hour's time. It's still doing stuff. Is that because it's failing? It's a watch point. We're hitting watch points in low vectors. That's what's going wrong. I'm going to go and just RISC OS 64 ammo makefile clean everything, just in case we've not, because we won't have rebuilt the other files yet. And then that one, yeah. And we'll see how this works. Of course, we'll have to check it for the other cases as well, but I think we're going to be seeing something that's a little bit better here. I think. I'm really hoping we get something that's a bit better. This is likely to be the case in other places where we've got to mess around because the structure will say char star, but actually a char star isn't the structure in memory because we're mapping everything down, which is, I don't. Is there a way to say this is a pointer as a type, but it's a pointer that's only 32-bit? I suspect not, because it's blooming stupid and dangerous. So these are the ones that are actually warning us that we've expanded it from 32-bit up to 64-bit here. So that's actually gone quite sensibly there. Did I catch all of them? Let's look for char star. Oh, there aren't any more char stars in there. That's good. We're still hitting 0-page breakages. What I'll do is I'll wait for it to complete and we'll see if we get a screenshot out that looks... You have invented short void star. I don't know if that's ever been a thing or whatever, but I kind of want it to be. My knowledge of the C spec is actually quite limited these days. Whilst that's rattling on, let's see what this warning is. So we're reading from address 1C, which means we've probably been past the null pointer. Oh, in the printf code. This is probably my debugging code. My debugging code has probably just gone wrong. Yeah, I'm going to bet that's just my debugging code going screwy. I also have this. I haven't got any text in here. Validation equals bling bling bling. It's tried to access something and gone, I'm not doing that. So, okay. Sorry, no, let's go back to the plot icon and we can turn off the debug. Oh, LLS! Oh god, that'd be why. That should be an X. Yeah, I was printing it. And let's also, yeah, we just leave it running there. That's fine. I think this should kill the warnings now. Baggerspan says, charred ints versus singed shorts. The number of times I've written singed rather than signed. Is quite a few, obviously. Right, let's see if this works. This should be a little bit faster. Or it could just be quite bad. Is this my doing a printf again? No, that cache create. Not sure about that one. What do we get? So there we go, that's what we get. Validation equals 1C. That doesn't seem like the actual validation has been set to 1C. That looks like more that it's accessing the wrong value, and 1C is actually the length of the field or something. That's what I think it is. So let me go back to the types and have a see. Wimp icon data. Pointer, we've got a pointer there. Uint 32T area. This is going to fail on a whole bunch of these things. This is going to be hell. This really is going to be hell defining types for this. Which makes me think that maybe the compiler should be configured to have pointers as being... If I configure the compiler to have pointers that are configured to be 32 bits, then it would get around some problems. I was trying to avoid that. I was trying to avoid that. I don't think there's anything else. There's nothing else in there that looks wrong. Sprite op ID. What's a sprite op ID? Oh, sprite op ID. It's a void star. That's not going to work either. Uint 32T. Yeah, we need that to be one of them. Okay, so that's a few of them fixed. Let's see if we having fixed that, we've sorted out this particular problem. I suspect not. We might actually need to build some more of the files. Oh no. Ah, we set up the dependencies, so it's building the ones that have changed. That's quite good. It made sense to have data types that are exactly the same as the rest of the original operating system. So we don't have to change anything. There we go, lots of things being printed and no exceptions. And oh, no text, but we have got these sprites coming out in the right place. So that's something. I wonder why we don't get any text though. Quite interesting, really. Oh, we're not getting that. Because the render text strings are being generated, it looks like. If you jump back to plot icon, what we can do is down here. This is actually all multi-line text, so it's all this set here. String width is splitting. So what we can do is multi-line text string is, you can actually print it out there. In fact, what we could do is do dot star and then give it the length, which is split minus p. So it likely prints out the string as a as just the bit we're trying to print each time as we go around the loop. Let's give that a whirl. Oh, I'll just get the 64-bit working. It'll be easy. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's kind of fun. It's actually going in okay there. It's just not coming out. But think of the wealth and fame coming your way. Yeah. I'm constantly reminded of the wealth and fame that I am expecting. And sets up the rows, and then we give ourselves a maximum of 32 rows. Do we actually stop at 32? We do, yeah. That's good. Hey, I'm not having jail time. Paint text equals % dot star s. Same again. This time for the row and the length. And this will tell us whether it's going into the other function wrongly. Probably just fine in there. It's probably the paint render that's going wrong. Oh. I'm suddenly very, very tired, which means I'm probably due for more tea. I'll give it another 5 minutes or so, then I'll pop off and grab some tea. I'll have it a little bit early because I'm thirsty and tired. So yeah, we're calling the rendering code with the right things. It's just not doing it. Righty. So, if we're calling the rendering with the right parameters, but it's not actually doing the work, maybe that means that the text rendering code doesn't work in 64-bit. So, into the text render functions. Oh, yeah, can do. And then RISC OS ammo build 64 equals 1. So very tired. Right. If I do this, does it work? Pyro dev. Well, that's interesting. When it's red, it's large text, and when it goes down to when it's purple, it gets small. What? What's going on there? I don't know. You have to paint a ceiling. Good luck with painting the ceiling, Dave. Enjoy. 64. WX Windows. GOS. At least it's cooler, so being less exciting is definitely one of those things. Right, let's put this up here, and then let's go AF64 dot Wimp text render, and yeah, that doesn't look right, does it? That looks kind of wrong. So, why might that be wrong? And is it the gcontext library that's wrong? Because that looks like it's printed the text underneath or something. Alright, close that one down. So let's have a look at the text render code. I'm sure I tested the text rendering code. Maybe I didn't. Let's have a look at the types that we're using in that, because again, this might be the problem we've got. Or it could be gcontext that's broken. Nothing in here that looks typey that's text op. Nothing typey in there. Oops, symbols. Char star, yeah, that's fine. We've got some ints here for the font handles. They could be bytes even. Well, they shouldn't be, but it's a bit big anyway, is what I'm meaning. Char star, buffer, that's the truncate with ellipsis. Yeah, that's probably fine as well. I'm sad now. I'm sad this isn't working. Why isn't this working? Right, let's have a look. It's the paint function that's going screwy, so let's... Oh, do we have a... printf text render paint text equals percent dot star s len text. Oh, I'm sorry, not working. Did I actually have a dprintf in this? I don't. I do, but it's turned off, so that won't do any good. Let's do it again. Right, and then run the program. Hello world, yeah, that is working now. It's printing very slowly, that. Why is it now working when it wasn't before? And all I've done is I've changed the debug. Turn debug off again. So it does imply that something about the debug is affecting the structures we've got and the calls that we've got. So that's probably what we've done wrong here. So this is all being written in C, and I am writing an implementation of text rendering for RISC OS. So we're calling system calls that will render text, or fail to render text at the moment. And we're trying to find out why it's not coming out right. This is I'm debugging a difference between 32-bit and 64-bit, where it's all working in 32-bit, but it isn't in 64-bit. In fact, it isn't in 64-bit only when the debug is turned off, and when the debug is turned on, everything is fine, which is always irritating. So let's go and we'll turn the debug back on again, and we'll prove that it's not working. So the reason you know it's not working is because it didn't come up with text there. So when we turn the debug on here and we run it, we'll see here, oh, it's printing out text, which it wasn't doing before. So something about turning that debug on causes it to work. That's irritating. Really irritating. And it's only the output that's coming out wrong, so it's probably the font calls that are going wrong, and they must be the font calls in here that are doing something odd, which is very strange. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. But all of the text calls go through to the G-context library. That actually is the thing that actually does the rendering. So changing this shouldn't make a blind bit of difference. Shouldn't change anything. Or did I misinterpret it? Am I being tired and misinterpreting what the actual case was? So build it again. Build it again. No, so not RISC V. This is on ARM ARC64 and ARM 32-bit. The operating system is called RISC OS because it's the original ARM operating system. And there's a ice cream van here. Did I just rebuild that already? Right, debug is off. Yeah, okay, debug is off. Run it. So the important thing is when the debug is on, we're actually seeing the debug saying, I'm going to print these things. It's not even printing. No, it's not. Obviously, it's not printing anything. Not printing anything at all. Pyro, because obviously I've told it not to. Pyromaniac, debug, turn on, font debug. Font manager debug. I don't know what it's called. Whoa, lots of stuff. Yeah, so font manager is definitely getting the string. It's definitely being told this is the string to print. Is it possible that it's actually Pyromaniac that's broken? Learning C. There's many books to learn C. Learning C books. Many books. C Programming: A Modern Approach, 96. But C is quite an old language now, and you have to have a good reason to be able to learn how to learn it. I wouldn't recommend it so much these days. If you're just starting out, I would suggest learning Python. But if you want to have a look at C, that's an option. That all it said, as I say, all I did was just learning C books. But yeah, have a look around. I'm thinking something weird is going on. I'm not sure what. Is this actually a bug in the 64-bit plotting rendering? I mean, it could be. It could be. It could be a bug in G context. It could be putting the text in the wrong place. Good luck. It could be putting the text in the wrong place because dot dot dot. It's as if it's ellipsizing it down to a single character. Oh, maybe the width that it's returning when it does ellipsis, when it's string width, are we getting the string width wrong? Symbols convert. Get string size returns it into a bounds, which is a string bounds. A string bounds is in G context. I'm going to have to find G context now, aren't I? Let's start a new window. This is what happens when you've got libraries that you've tested, but when something goes odd, you've got to go and mess around with them. Two down, maybe. G context, there we go. Let's have a look at this. Headers. G context. Have we got anything types in here that are not? So they're all okay because those are all int32s, which is what we want. And other places look like they're using that. I've got string size and ints there, but that's character offset, so that's fine. X size and Y size again, but the actual one we're having problems with is get string size. Let's have a look at get string size, shall we? Oh, in the C implementation. Get string size. That's the bounds for M. This is the general string size call. We call read info. We get the ascender and the descender. And it's pointer. And width is also assigned 0. Those are int32s. Character offset looks okay to me. This doesn't look terrible. I'm not seeing anything in here that looks like it should break. I'm going to go and turn the debug on in here. I'm going to build 64 export. Build a library that's 64-bit that is with debug on and see whether we still get breakage. That's file handlers. That's not ideal, but it should work. That's going to work. I mean, this is likely to be a problem when we move things around in 64-bit anyway, but at least if we've got the code that's working, or code that's testable at the very least, we can see what's going wrong, hopefully. Oh dear. Okay, we've built that. Now we've got this one here. Build it. So it'll just link with the new. That should have just linked with the new G context, but it didn't. Why didn't it? C:\G context .o.context64 because it hasn't been set as a dependency. Well, that's interesting. I may have to look into that. That's an oddity. That's not right. Shouldn't have done that. It should have actually relinked it. I think these values here, left bearing and right bearing, should have more values on them. That one's got a lot, but they're not looking right to me. In fact, we can actually test this by going back to here and also exporting it for 32-bit and trying it with the 32-bit and seeing if it's different. Because we've got basically some big numbers for one of them and then lots of them coming out as small numbers or minus numbers here. And I think those are the ones that are wrong. X offset doesn't look terrible though. Let's export it. So now build it with the 32-bit. Bit faster. And then 64-bit. No, 32-bit I want to run. Okay, just go up there please so I can see you. AF 32.wimp text render. Oh, common. I need the C library. Huh. So look at that. Those values don't look too terrible to me. So you can see the text is being printed, and you can see here 428, 453, 406, and bearings of 0 and character offsets. Those are looking okay. 2853 406, was that a value? 2853 406, yeah. So it's coming out of here just fine. Coming out of here just fine. Well, bother. Which is frustrating because it means that, oh, what? No, they look okay. All those values there. Yeah. 32, 35, 30. 32, 35, 30, 32, yeah. Not bad, really. Which means that it is plotting text as we expect, which is cool. So G context is not the issue, seemingly, which, yeah, I would kind of expected that, but we just need to export it so we get it fixed up again. Build 64 is one. Right, okay, let's export that. So we're back to looking at text. So how about we have a look at this and we see what the actual values are coming out as here. We could do some printing of just that, couldn't we? I think that's also wrong. I think that should be width equals x offset plus r bearing. I think that's what we should be doing. Bounds equals bounds. Hold on. L bearing equals %i. R bearing %i. X offset equals %i. X offset bounds dot. Okay, let's just build that. And see whether it works in 32-bit. We only got one string width call. Why? Ah, because we're calling string width with split. Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe there's something odd about this that's going wrong. No, after the call here. I think this code's wrong. I'm going to have to tweak that later, but I think it's wrong. Oh. Did I not? I'm rather confused now because I thought this would be truncating it and would be calling that function. But it's only printing it out once. And it's got left bearing and right bearing looking like garbage. Oh, yeah, that was because I didn't build the code. I feel dumb now. Better. But still, there we go. We've now got things coming out. And I've only added one little tiny bit of debug in there. Now, if I take that debug out, build it. Oh, this is for 32-bit. It's going to be fine anyway. Oh, right. Okay. Build for 64-bit. I didn't mean to do that. Right. Run for 64-bit. Working fine. Turn off that one little bit of debug there. Is this just that G context needed rebuilding? Was there something wrong with it? It's working fine now. Oh, but that's still got the debug in. That's still got the debug in. Did I not rebuild it? I didn't rebuild it. No debug present. Bum, bum, bum. And it's working fine. It's working correctly. I mean, that's just weird, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay. So now that it's working correctly, we don't need, I'll leave that debug in there. We can go back to here. We'll go and rebuild everything. RISC OS. I'm going to rebuild SQL clean. We'll rebuild it all clean. And then we will this one. Yeah, that's the one. Do this. And we'll rebuild all of the icon rendering here. That's weird. I'm not sure why the G-context library was out of date. It's possible I'd fixed something and not rebuilt it, but I don't remember. I mean, that's, yeah, I don't remember a lot of things, but so in case we're unsure, this is what we are looking to generate. This is what we should be getting out of it. And fingers crossed, that's what we will get. If we get that, then, well, regardless of whether we get that, I think I'm going to go for a drink anyway after this, because I'm tired now. Tired, need more tea. Give me caffeine. I had hoped, as usual, that this would be the easy bit and we'd be able to just go, yeah, it's fine. Module initialized. And then you got to page 3, skipping page 1. That's our debuggy bits, which probably is going to obscure everything. And we've still got no text. What? What is happening? Why are we not getting anything? What is going on? I'm all confused. Right, okay, let's... try page 0. Where's page 0 gone? Page 0 should look like this. This is going to have lots of garbage over the screen. We're going to have to turn the debug off, aren't we? That's fine. No text whatsoever. No text whatsoever. Why? And we've got this odd shading on this one as well that I don't understand. Or maybe it's this one I don't understand. But no text coming out. Why? Why no text? So very strange, because we shouldn't be having any issues with that. Right, well, we know we're safe on the string, so we can turn the debug off in here. Hang on, it is off. Oh, because it's not text icon, it is plot icon. We had it in. We rebuild and rerun it again, but was getting no text, which is just bizarre, isn't it? We did rebuild it, didn't we? We must have rebuilt it. Yeah, gcontext ZM64 and gcontext ZM64. No text. No text whatsoever. Clipping rectangle. Have we set the clipping rectangle wrongly? Clip. So the clipping rectangle we set here is a bbox_t. A bbox_t is defined. Is it defined in types? bbox_t? No, it's not. Okay then, is it defined in the gcontext? Graphic, no gcontext. bbox_t, it is, and there's what it's given the values of x0, y0. But when we populate bbox, the clipping rectangle that goes into bounds, come on, what's a bounds? What is a bounds? A bounds is an OS box, which is not a bbox_t. An OS box is not in gcontext, it's in here. Shouldn't go around casting things like this, but that's also the same thing, and it has the same ordering. And that's just copied from the icon extents. Okay, look at this another way. If that's in there, when we do the clipping in here, clip state. Where's clip state? Clip state must be defined in gcontext. Clip state. It's one of those, and that's just a clipping as a bbox_t. Oh, well, this is odd. I'm thinking it's the clipping that's going wrong. Because that would give us like nothing on the screen when it was trying to do everything else. So what we'll do is we'll just not set up the clip rectangle here, and we'll build it and run it, and we'll see whether that draws things. Because if it does, then it's not the it is just the clipping rectangle that's the problem. Come on. Maybe I should turn down the tracing. Oh, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. bounds.x0, bounds.y0, bounds.x1, bounds.y1. Okay. In fact, I'll just print it there and we'll see what we get. You're just taunting me now, Chris, by telling me you put on a cup of coffee. Those clipping rectangles don't look stupid to me. They look quite reasonable. Switch us to 32-bit and see if we get anything different. So take one off and switch that to 32 there. So numbers we're looking for are 1666, 238, 142. They look fine to me. Okay then, that looks not unreasonable. So maybe the assertion of the clipping rectangle is what's failing. Screen set graphics window to null and screen set graphics window to that. Going to screen. We define some ints. Well, that's not going to work, is it? They're int 32s. So it gets the screen size wrong. So when it goes and tries to do some of the calculations, it gets the size of the screen in the wrong places. And again here, that's going to go wrong. Again, int 32t there. Unsigned long data. Oh, that's not going to be good either. That should be a uint 32t. Okay. Now let's export that in 64-bit. It'll be the same in 32-bit. Oh, I missed one there. I just noticed. I'll rebuild it. Once it finishes, there we go, rebuild that. And then we can go and put the clipping rectangle back again and comment. Leave that in there. Right, there we go, that's now exported as 64-bit. Now we can go over here, build it for 32-bit. Yeah, build it to 32-bit, make sure it hasn't broken. Yep, that was exactly the one I'd spotted, Andrew. Yep, I went and tweaked that one. I tweaked as I saw it. Good spot. Right, 32-bit working. Whoa. Right, next one is the 64-bit one. Oh dear gosh, all of that just because I got the clipping rectangle wrong, which again was code that I wrote. It's actually the code that I pinched from Hexen. So Hexen isn't going to work in 64-bit. I think we probably knew that. I think we were quite sure that that was the case anyway. But yeah. Oh dear me. Yeah, I'm suddenly thinking, oh my gosh, how much will I have to do to go and add in 64-bit assembler for the rendering in Heretic and Hexen and Doom if I want to do that. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh, sorry, that's rendered. We have things. Look, it's working. Right, so what should it look like? It should look like this. So the only bit that's coming out oddly is this one here, which we've selected that not filled, ordered. I'm not sure what that one, why that one's coming out different to that one. I just don't know what's going wrong with those two. Yeah, right. But we now have rendering, and let's just try number 3, since that was the one we were trying to get working. And if that's all good, I can go and commit that change, and we can be reasonably happy. Oh, I'm going to have to do another release of G-Context, aren't I? Yeah, well, no matter. Where's 3 gone to? Here's 3. And this is what we got. So expected on this side. Looks okay. Looks okay. These don't look as good as these ones. I think these ones come out better. All looks good to me. I think that's pretty nice. All right. Oh gosh. So yeah, lots of extra debug we put in there. Ooh, lots of extra debug we put in there. Right. Let's go commit the G-Context stuff first. Yes, I'm very glad for the yellow rubber ducks to help me out. Right, commit -a. Fix the clipping rectangle. Code never working on 64-bit. The code was using int and unsigned long, where it should have used the int32t and uint 32t types for the VDU variables. Okay, so I didn't understand that. Oh. Right, there we go. Clipping rectangle code never worked. It's good. Okay, push that. Oh, we got changes. There are actually some. What did change? Git log. It would have been handy if I'd done a pull and found out what was different. Oh, that was just the version number. Okay, so nothing special. But I do need to now go and release this. So vmanage inc. Actually, what have we released? What have we released? Git open. Copy, paste. So we've got 5 releases, so I do need to go and vmanage inc. Now 0.06. Git commit -a. Update version to 0.06 with clipping fixed. Wasn't working in 64-bit, should now be working. Push tag v 0.06. Push origin v 0.06. Right, let's just have a look in here and see whether it's finished. I think it should actually queue this anyway. How long does it take? 28 seconds to run. So 14 seconds the last one took, that's good. This one's running anyway. And then when it's finished, a new release will turn up in here. A new release will turn up in here. There we are. Okay. Oh, what did we do? Did we do anything special styling? No, we just did over 0.05. Over v 0.05. Fix for the clipping calls not actually clip. 64-bit. There we go. Right, publish release. Back over to here. If we have a look in, is it in Makefile? Do we actually use it in Makefile? No, we probably only do it in the CI. So let's pull out the CI on here. It'll be quicker. Yep, we need to pull in 0.06. There we go. Right, status. Oh, also, let me just make sure we've exported both of them. Export. And build 64 as well. Okay. So what have we fixed? We changed things in render text and validation strings, so I need to go and check whether we need to do that. Just some debug. Push that. Okay, apparently we've got some changes already in there. Log my sponsorship and it swapped around. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Push that. Okay, and the validation strings. Oh. Fix for check of -1 in the Wimp validation strings. Push that. Oh, pull it. Another one that's got other things changed on it. Call auto stash. Pull. Push. Sorry, it's already pulled. Push. Oh, I'm in the wrong place now. Pull auto stash. Got myself confused. Log that. Yeah, just maintenance stuff. Yeah, not sure what that one did. Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Git diff push. Right, so the bits we've got left now are commit a fix for crashes in 64-bit rendering. We can now render the text in 64-bit properly. Excellent. Right, and with that, I am now going to go and get myself a cup of tea for a few minutes. It's going to be about 10 minutes. I will take a short break, and all being well, we'll come back and we'll have another look at other bits. Ooh, I missed loads of things here. What went on? Low equals how machines originally shipped and default compatibility. High is zero page protection. Zero page protection is probably the best thing to stick on most of the apps because it was so dangerous. And Pyromaniac has it on by default. So yeah. Somebody asked about what we're doing. So I'm working on 64-bit rendering of icons for RISC OS, ARC64, writing code in C. But I am just about to take a break because it is now an hour and 3/4 since we started. I'm getting a bit tired. But we have got somewhere because we've managed to get to the point where our icons do now render in 64-bit. And we can actually see them. Let me just run the quick test and you'll be able to see it's actually doing it, which is cool. Ouch. Fingers cracking. Lots of stuff to build because it's got dependencies and stuff. Yeah, interesting. We probably have be interesting to do that. Flotation slides, blah blah blah. Come on. And there we are. That's what we get. And of course, what we want to get is that. So as you can see, it is doing pretty much the right thing. Yay. Right. Okay. 10 minutes for a break, and then we'll be back. All right. Oops, didn't turn up in the right place. 10 minutes for break. So I'll be back around about, yeah, probably around about 3 o'clock. Okay, see you in a bit. Hello, we're back. Oh, see you, Alan. Oh, where were we? Right, we're trying to compare and find out what's going wrong with these things. So I want to see, we've committed things, we just want to see what's gone wrong with this one here. And that's the one I'm caring about at the moment. Not this screen. On screen 0. So we can go back to running the 32-bit one. 32-bit version on screen 0, please. Page 0, sorry. Because we've got this slight discrepancy here on this one. I want to know what's going wrong with it. Okay, this is the screen over here, sorry. Right, so what we got? It's definitely looking like it's grayed out. I'm not sure why it's looking grayed out, but it is. Excuse me. What I can do is I can what can I do? Let's go to the test program, which is down here. Wimp icon test. Excuse me. If we actually pick up that one that we are wanting to test, which is this one here, right? So we've got a sprite, we've got selected, we've got horizontally centered, we've got vertically centered, we've got filled turned off. This is the one here. If we just copy that, put it there for a moment, copy this. Oh no, don't delete it, just copy it, paste that, take these two, and then we can put them first at the top here. And we can just have that one thing being drawn. And we'll see what's going wrong. Hopefully we'll be able to see something a bit more useful about it, because it's odd, this one. It's kind of odd. There we go, it's just that one we're drawing now. And as you know, it should be looking like that, but it's looking like that. Yeah, well, all the screens are coming out as empty because, yeah. There we go, right. So it's very odd, isn't it? Oh no, I've got the wrong one. I've picked up the wrong one. It's STA. I want this one here because that's coming out right. BTH V plus S. Yeah, not too hard. I just need to find the right one. So I accidentally picked up that one. I want this one. So the one that doesn't have the sprite in it. There we go, run that one again. Nope, that hasn't redrawn it. I'll have to pick this one up and put it there. Right, so that's what we get when it should be that. Let's confirm that by yeah, let's have a. Do I want to run this on RPCM? Just to confirm. Oh, hang on, this one's, oh, I've got it all confused, haven't I? Hang on, that's because I've got the settings set to mouse, follow mouse host. Thank you very much. I was testing the new mouse module, OS pointer module, and so I needed to see it working properly. What we want here is Wimp. Where's my icon plotting? Did I not link it in? Don't see the Wimp icon plotting. RISC OS. No, not there. Okay, well, we'll just -s Wimp library dot application support /rpcmu hostfs there. Right, and then we go back to here, refresh. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? Because it's $pwd. Of course. There we go. Right. Go to that. Refresh again. There we are. So, set work directory. Basic -quit wimp plot icon test. Swine name not known. Oh. Yeah, okay, let's just very quickly go and fix that. Just need to turn it back to using a proper plot icon. That one. There. Oops, no, rem. And then we can run it again. Alright then. Basic -quit wimp plot icon test. There we go. That's what it should look like. It should look like that, which is that, which isn't that. So, yeah, we're looking like we've got something that's easily reproducible here, and it is correct that it should be looking that way. So I feel quite good about that. Right. So what is going on? Let's turn on the debug in the. We'll put it back to running the right one. Go back to the debug in here. Where's the debug gone? Debug in plot icon. So if we turn the debug on in here, we should be able to see at least a little bit more, and we can then expand it out. So let's go to ammo. You know, rather than running it in there, I could just launch it direct. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll do this. We'll do this. So I'll get a little bit more debug out this time. That's interesting. The long plotting has come out with very odd values. That's not quite what we wanted. That is almost certainly because we've got the wrong version on there. That's frustrating. No matter. Let's just leave it at that. However, we don't get anything useful out of it with things like the flags and the like. So we're going to have to mess around. We probably need something for the colors here. So dprintf plot icon render colors equals % and x, comma. Actually, what we'll do is we'll do bg/fg because it will make it clearer what we've got there. Have I unmuted myself? I have. Good. Just nobody's talking, or if they are, I'm not seeing it. That's fine. Don't mind. Just curious as to whether I was talking to myself again, because that's quite normal. All right. Right. So there's the colours we're trying to render, and then we can have a look down here, and we've got text rendering paint. That's the background colour we fill with. Cam's frozen. Oh no! Let's fix the camera, shall we? Properties. See, it just doesn't last. I don't know if it's the screensaver that causes it to happen or what, but oh, I don't know. Just weird. There we are. Right. Okay, we've got I've got a camera back now. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's probably just a 64-bit problem. So this debugging we're working on at the moment, obviously, is one that I am hoping to get finished today. I mean, we're running out of time, but I'm hoping to finish it today and then tick things off. Because at the moment it's like, what's going wrong? It's very annoying. Text render paint. We've already done the set colors, haven't we? So now, yeah, that should be all it needs. We probably want to print out the flags as well, just see what flags we've got set. So let's do that. Flags equals ampersand x flags. Okay. Build that and we'll have a see what that comes out with. Anything else we can add in whilst we're thinking about it? We could actually tell it whether we're going to do shading and selected. Plot icon render is shaded. And this one is selected. Okay, that's fair. But what do we break? We've got flag. Oh, interesting. Where are the? Oh, it's icon to flags. That's why. Excuse me, you're going to run anything or are you just stuck there? Hello? Hello? Well, that didn't get very happy, did it? It couldn't communicate with the build server, it looks like. Oh, no, it is working now. Is selected, but it ended up very shaded. Oh, did it end up shaded? I think it's selecting towards the selection background. So if we have a look at the selected path here, it's not the border thing, it's border type 0, so we swap the colors. So it swapped the colors around. That's what it's done, which is kind of what I thought it would be doing. So let's have a look at Pyromaniac. We got Pyro's code in here? No, apparently we don't. Right, let me just pull that up then. No, not there. Sublet / projects RISC OS Pyromaniac RISC OS Py modules mod core Wimp. Just the Wimp section. I'm going to have a look at plot icon. We're sort of comparing it to this one. Let's just go down, put that at the bottom, put this one at the top. Okay, they're not quite top and bottom, but fair enough. And what bit were we looking for? This is the where we got selected. This is the render code. So render, not text to render, no, render, here we go. So there's what we call setup colors to get the colouring we're going to use, which I think is what we want to be doing here. So if we look at setup colours, here we go. Get the default colours and then apply those. If there's C flags, if it's selected, if it's pulled. Okay, so what do we actually do here? So we don't, the thing is that setup colors doesn't exist. It's done this stuff in line. This is the copy the colors from get default colors there, which is the equivalent of default colors this. But it also applies the bordering colors. Fair enough. Then we force the colors in the foreground and the background. Only swap the colors when pairs of sprites aren't given. That's this check here. So this is basically pulling them in from the validation string, so that's not relevant at the moment. And that's the if shaded, apply it to all the colours. And this only applies if selected. Yeah, that looks right to me. That looks like it should be doing. I mean, it's slightly different because of how the handling of the selection colours works. If one was given, then we use it. If one was given, we use it. Otherwise, we call to the alternate, the opposites, which is what you would kind of expect. We're not using border type 5s or 6s. And we're not using a border. We've got a border. Oh, hang on. If we have a border, no, if there's a validation border character, so if it's got an R greater than 0, and it's not 0, then which is actually border type, come to think of it, and the color was set, then use the color. Foreground equals background, background equals foreground. So that's if it's shaded, which we know it's not shaded because that didn't come up. It said, yeah, background is not DDDD. So it ends up being black background and DDDD as the foreground, which is the swapped versions of what it was. Is it something about if it's not filled? This is the setup colors. If it's fill, then render the fill. If it has a sprite, then do that there. Sorry, I missed things. What are we doing? So I'm converting this Python code into C code to draw some icons. And the problem is that this one here should be looking, sorry, this one here should be looking like this one here. And the patterned colors that we've got have swapped around and it's ended up not being displayed. It's come out really grayed out. I'm not sure why. That's not right. Stop it. It's very strange, and I can't see why the Python is doing something different. Render text, colors. Text and the border are both coming out in the same color, as if they're, yeah, being swapped as you'd expect, which is very odd, very, very odd. As we're not shaded, we're not using the border slab ins, we've not got any validation string values, so it all should be coming out the same, but it isn't. It's doing something odd and different, which is confusing. Color VC to colors is not naught. I don't think that's right. I think that should be Wimp color none. Because VC to colors is the validation things that if we go into validation here, sorry, into validation cache, sorry, VC, and we look for the color strings here, it gets given values. But by default, it is set to 0, so you can't tell the difference between colors that are 0 and colors that have been, oh, that might be an unhelpful thing anyway. We might have to look into that, because yeah, maybe VC to colors should be Wimp color none. Right, not sure. I'll have to think about that one. Give me a second. Okay, so that may be an issue, that the validation cache is coming out wrongly, and we can tweak that. Yeah, color none. That's color none for that. We want an RGB none or something, whatever it is in G context. Yeah, we should set that to. Okay, I get it. I understand what's happening there. I need to just focus on the bits I'm trying to do here, which is trying to understand why plot icon is not that. Yeah, wrong plot icon. This plot icon is not showing the same type. If we don't have a border, then border type is 0. Force it to 0. That makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. So we'll never use it. This is get selected, this is get shaded. So I'm not sure why the Python doesn't come out that way. I'm not sure why the standard implementation comes out differently. Because if it is selected, and oh, excuse me. Has fill. It forces on the fill. If it's not filled and it is selected, then force filled to be true. There we go. That's why. Yeah, clearly sneezes are a good thing. Bool, filled. Right, and we'll put exactly the same logic in here, just so that we can get that sprite. Let's just look at the sprite. Oh. We don't actually know whether it's a sprite there, but we can check the type. So in which case then what we want is filled is icon to flags with icon filled. Yep. This one here, if not filled and selected and not apparently RISC OS Tech has cracked it, whatever it is. Oops, wrong one. That one there. Filled equals true. True. Right. Now, jump back to build and run. Oh. I may have left some bits behind. Right, that entire section needs to go. I missed. I put a colon on the end when it should be a bracket. And it still doesn't blooming work. Oh, because we've only set a variable and we've never used it. If filled, do that. So let's see whether this. No, that is not right. And I think the reason that it's not right is because when we call in to get the standard colors in, no, not that one. Now, where else do we use filled? We definitely use it somewhere else. or is it has selection? Oh, that's fun. That's a fun one. Only invert the colors if there's a separate selected sprite. And this is the magic here that does selection coloring. So that not filled and not sprite and text and is selected turns off the selection. Filled text. Well, I would probably ought to have a one for the sprite here, just because it will make this code a little bit easier. It's actually defined as has selection coloring as opposed to just selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do selected coloring, and then what I'll do is I'll set it here, selected, and then we'll modify it using this algorithm. I think that's the logic up there. So I don't think we need to reapply that. If not filled and not sprite and text, I need to do that as an independent one, I'm afraid. And text and selected equals false. Else if sprite and not text and selected true, else it just equals selected, which is the thing we set it to beforehand, and we just need a bracket on the end there instead. As selection coloring, and then we need to do this as selected color. There we go. Okay. Now it's also likely that this will mess up some other ones. RISC OS Tech's having problems with one of the ROMs. Apparently the HAL's broken in various ways. 174. Missed a semicolon there. There we are. Also text. Oh, maybe I should have exported text out as a variable as well, rather than having to calculate it each time. And is that what we got? Because that's not right. And that's quite wrong. Oh! Selection coloring doesn't mean that. Selection coloring means make it go green, make it go the selection color. Selected. Past tense. It was broken, now working. Do you really have to compile the ROM if you're just updating the HAL? Because it seems to me you just replace the HAL, because that's the point. Otherwise it's an integrated component. Seems to me. I may be dumb. Selection coloring. And that should say selected. You'd have thought you'd just be able to link those together, since building a ROM is just putting things together in the right shape. But what do I know? I'm not going to go off on my rant on how Google are managing their ROMs. That would seem to be a hiding to nothing for me. What am I going to do with this? So this is... I don't think this has changed anything because I'm not going to use this anywhere. Well, I mean, that's their... So, RISC OS Tech says the problem is Rule wouldn't add the new code. That's their prerogative, and you can build it yourself. But the fact you have to build the entire ROM to be able to do that, it's a bit of a pointless thing. Really, you should be able to having OEMs able to construct the new image from the components that would go into a regular ROM and just swap in and out the bits that you don't need, because it's a modular system. And that makes sense, but having to rebuild everything means you run into problems that might be due to one particular build rather than the core build. But look at me, I can't get a blooming icon to turn up in the right colours. Don't think that's right. No, it's still coming out wrong. So now we're just getting the colours completely. So that should be swapped around. If those two colours were the other way around, it would be right. If those colours were the other way around, it would be right. So why might they be the other way around? Is selected. If it has selection colors, then do that magic. That's rendering the border. The other one's rendering the text. It's setting up the colors. It's not. I have a feeling I've made this worse. If they're supplying something that's not working, then yes, that's a problem. I mean, end users should never be needing to build things. That should be a problem elsewhere, but I don't really want to continue with this next week. I wanted to get it all finished this week. I can probably turn off all these debugs as well. Let's see where we get to first, shall we? Right. Again, everything is working except that one. All the rest are coming out okay. But that one's not. Is selected. Has fill there. So where's is selected gone? Is selected is literally just the flag is selected. And the setup colors only swap the colors when pairs of sprites aren't given, so not selection coloring. It is selection coloring. Selected. Yeah. Go on. And I meant to turn the debug off, didn't I? There's definitely some simplification to go on with this because this is not quite as nice as you'd like it to be. I mean, icon rendering is just a lot of combinations of things. And I had said previously, maybe the whole icon rendering system should be. That doesn't look like it's done it. It looks like it's still wrong. Definitely still wrong. And I don't know why. All right, well, we're going to leave that one for now. We'll come back to it at another time. What we will do though is we will pop to here, go to this, and we'll start ticking things off because we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and run 0, and I'm going to run this as 64-bit because it's working 64-bit, and if it's working 64-bit, it will get all the 32-bit ones as well. Just all around it will work. 64. Armchairs are going through the roof, says Spanners. I'm sure that will please Chris. No end. I'm assuming they give share options to employees. Actually, Basley's been there for goodness knows how long, hasn't he now? Chris Basley. Assuming a reasonably low roof, says Dave. Well, fair enough. I want... Right, this is the thing I'm looking for. I'm going to go and I'm going to update this on another screen whilst we're ticking them off on here. So I'll just mention that they're set as we go through them. Right, there we are. So what I want is this one here and this one on the screen at once. And I want no, icon rendering is what I'm looking for. There. So this is the markdown that I've got, and I'm just going to be ticking things off on here as we discuss them. Right, so plain borders, yep, they're working. That's cool. Borders using filled backgrounds using desktop colors. Yep, we've got grey 1 and black on there, so that's ticked off as well. Text in the desktop font using system font. We haven't actually got that tested at the moment. Let's come back to that one, but we have got the anti-alias fonts working. Colored text. Yep, colored text is working. Oh, colored text using the desktop colors. Yeah, that's coming out in black or greys for these ones here, so that is working. Text in icons, yeah, we've got that working. I don't think we've got an explicit check for 12 characters, so I'm going to leave that one. Indirected text is working because we've got all of these texts rendering here, so that's working. Sprites in icons are not on here, so we can't say that. Indirected and Wimp pool and window pool, we've not got those yet. We can jump down here to text because we've got only text sprites on these ones. Left aligned, right aligned, center aligned. Left aligned, center aligned, right aligned. All doing good. So I'll tick all those ones off. Left line, right line, center aligned. Yep. Next one, selected icon with coloring. Yeah, we have these are selected versions. They come out okay. And selected icon, the text coming out okay. Yep, that looks good to me as well. Sprite's not showing on here, so we've only got 2 of those I can tick off. Coloring and text, and I'm going to do that on both the 32-bit one as well because we know it's working on there. Oops, I've lost me other bit. Oh, go away. Right. So shaded icon without text. Ooh, not tested here. Shaded icon with text. Yeah, we've got that working. And filled. Actually, we haven't tested the one without fill, but we have got it with fill. So we can do one of those ticked off. Tick those ones off. Next one is shade icon sprites, text. Oh, got that repeated. Wonder what that meant with that one. Text and sprites. Yeah, I think that's just a mistake, that one. Right. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7. All working. So I'll tick those off. R validation with Wimp color specifiers. That's that one. So we can tick that off as well. It's done. Text with true colors. That's these ones. So we know that they work. And filled with true colors as well. That's working. R validation with true colors. I don't think we've actually got that one done yet. D validation is the one with stars. So that's working. Font icons using F validation. We don't have that tested yet. It's not in here. Multiline's not in here. Color map's not in here. Overlong text does not show outside the icon. Yep, we're all clipping properly. Oversized sprite does not show outside the icon. Not tested. We're not doing the border filtering, and I mean, actually, we are supplying it outside of the redraw loop, so we can say that that's working as well. And we're calling it with ksat, so we can do that as well. Right, so let's move on to number 2, which is the sprite ones. And we can then go and tick off some more sprite rendering ones. So let's go and scroll back up here. And we'll see which sprite ones we can actually handle. Which of course I can't see that it's working. Is it working? It's doing its thing. Oh, I think page 2 isn't the one I want. I think I wanted page 1. That doesn't matter. We'll sort that out. Right. Okay. So what we got on here? We've got this is sprite in an icon. Well, generally sprites in an icon are working, so we can tick that off. And they are the ones that are in the Wimp pool, because this is the gwrite icon, so that's good as well. What's next? Text and sprite. These are all text and sprite. Oh, sorry, that should have just been. Okay, let's go and tick those just temporarily. These are text and sprite in icons, all using the validation. So with validation is set. Text and sprite right aligned, left aligned, right aligned, left aligned. Cool, that's working. What's next? Selected icon for a sprite. That's this one, doing that, selecting there, and they're going into the inverted state because we haven't got anything else. So there, that's working. Selected icon, and the selected icon with alternate is these ones, so they're working as well. So we can tick all of them. Selected icon, sprite. Oops, tick, tick, tick. Right. Small sprites. Yep, that's working as well. Okay, so none of these are testing shaded. Have we got any more down here for sprites? No. So we want to go on to the next one, which is number 1, which I'd skipped. I'll scroll back up again. So we were on 3025. So we're doing quite well, but still got a bit to go. Right. Has that drawn anything? Page 1. This is page 1. So this is just the plain sprites, which is just yeah, sprite in icon and in directed, so those ones there. We don't have a test for no S validation, so using just that. So, but we this one's the shaded one. Yes, we have got the shaded one there. Shaded icon without text is good, and shaded icon without text with text we already checked, haven't we? Sorry, we've seen that one on the other page. Shaded icon that's just a sprite is that one, and we have the text and sprite on the other ones. That and that, and I can delete the duplicated row. We haven't tested this without fills, so I need to come back and add some tests for missing fills. And I think that's all of them. Oh, we haven't looked at the long text strings yet. Let's do the long ones, which is number 3. 3. So there's still a few tests to do, but we're not going too badly on these, I don't think. There he is. Right. To there. Right, okay, so where's long text? Multi-line L validation. Yep, that is working. We haven't got line spacing tested anywhere in here. And actually my multi-line L validation plus sprite is another one, so I'll add that in and tick it off. And we've also got all the alignment forms, which I should probably include. So let's do left aligned. Since I'm writing these out, I'll go and put them on the screen. Right aligned. Oops, I've edited the one for line spacing. Didn't mean to do that one. H-centered. Does it call it H-centered? Center aligned. Yeah. So all of those are working. Left, right, centered. Yeah, all those are working. And bottom aligned, and we don't have a top aligned one. Interesting. So all of those are working. I'm not sure you ever could have a top aligned one. I'm sure there must be. Oops, I've ticked the line spacing one, which we haven't checked yet. So that's a lot of the implementation done. It's not complete, but it is definitely functional. If you were to actually have all of those sprites working, all those sprite forms working, you would be pretty much covering most of the types of icons you would ever encounter on the Wimp. So I don't think that's too bad. We can also say that this one is also implemented now. We haven't got a plot icon one, but that's fine. It would be easy to wire up later. So if I now go to status.md and search for icon render, I am happy to say now that I feel this is functional, because it's functional in both modes, in the 62-bit, in the 32-bit and the 64-bit. So that's quite nice to know. I've noticed I've got PS driver. P driver PS is marked off as being stub because Piers has announced that he's got that working. I still need to see it working, but it's working apparently, so that's quite cool. I need to build it for the 64-bit as well. That's going to be unfun, but at least I have the C++ environment working, which is nice. Right, so there we are. Status as a. Oh, should I copy the? I should copy the implementation over, shouldn't I? RISC OS ammo. Build the 32-bit version. RISC OS ammo. Build 64 if you want. Copy them both. RM32 into there, and then if we have a look in here, we'll see that there's new modules there. Commit as a. Update the status of Wimp Icon Rendering. One of the sprites, the icons. All right, push that, and if we are now lucky, we should be able to see. Hopefully that was all visible whilst I was doing that, because I was doing things on the wrong screens and things, which is probably confusing. Right, once this is finished building, testing the binaries, this is the wiki update. Wiki update takes a little while, doesn't it? Because it has to go and build all the PNGs. Building all the documents. Woo! Building the wiki images. There we go. Pushing them. Oh, what's it doing now? It's on the gists. So actually, we're looking pretty good here. Go back to there. If we reload this, it should say a tick on there. There we go. We're now marked as functional. Yay! 76% functional here. 50% wise because one of them is the real one and one of them is the dummy one. And we're looking pretty nice. Yeah, we didn't test that one. I need to fix that. So there's a few here that I need to have a look at and just check that they're working. But we're not doing too badly. That's rather nice. Have you finished doing your updates? Yep, all the wikis updated. So if I go to the top level of the wiki now and reload this, so we've now got phase 3 at 20%, 93% phase 1, 27% on phase 2. So a lot of work has gone into these, and like phase 6 is already up to 20% as well. Because I've been doing this UI work, we've got some of those bits, and I've been building some of the C++ modules, SIC modules as well, just to get them to the state where they work. Oh, image file converts nearly is working as well, I think. Pretty sure I got that working. So there's a lot here that's now done. Let's check that's actually, yeah, that is up to date. Open a new tab. Is that really 20%? Yeah, it's really 20%. I think when it gets past 20%, it goes and flicks to the next column along. But yeah, so I hope you've been enjoying following on for these. As you can see, we now have most of phase 1 done. The bits that are missing are largely sort of configuration options, some of the vector handling that's not quite right because I haven't decided how to do that on 64-bit yet. But largely this is complete. Phase 2 is, so where's phase 2? Here we go. 27%, not great, but we've been making progress on this. There's a lot of bits here, like basic. We're still waiting on Steve to do that, and in the meantime, I've got the Russell, RT Russell basic that we're using. As you saw, it was working just fine to do the icon rendering. I mean, the fact that we've got a basic that we can use on 64-bit RISC OS is pretty cool in its own right. I quite like that. But there's a bunch of other modules here that are sort of a bit more difficult, like desktop is not particularly involved, but it's going to need some conversion and messing with. Ethernet's a hardware one, so a lot of these that are just marked as, that could be marked as stubs, because I've got implementations that are just stubs that have got SWIs that do nothing. I just haven't got around to putting them in yet because, well, I haven't really had the time. But some of the other bits, like Obey, I've got to test that out and see if that works, because Julie Stamp has already done that one to see, and we just need to make it 64-bit safe now, which will probably be a bit harder because it's got to probably handle some of the vectors, so that might be a bit fiddly. And of course there's the sound stuff, sound scheduler. I think that's implemented completely. I think it's functional. It might just be internals, but that one's pretty good. Sprite extend is going to be a pain, but we'll work that one out. Probably need to fight some of these, but yeah, it's not done too bad. The video software has actually probably got as far as internals because I've got a lot of that implemented now. A lot of it is done, which is nice. Yeah, so I'm going to call this particular part of the project done. So icon rendering, now I'm happy. Done to the point where it's functional, it can start being used for things. So if people had a 32-bit also, they wanted to try it out, they can, but they have to call this separate SWIs. What will be the next thing? I'm not sure. I don't know what the right thing is to do next. Yeah, it's entirely likely that I'm going to just wing it next week. What is next week anyway? So next week is the 7th, and then the date after that is the 14th. So there's only next week to go before I go away on holiday. I'm on honeymoon, so that'll be nice. So next week, I don't know what I'm doing. I would really like people to give me some suggestions. I mean, I'll happily do a Q&A if people want Q&A. I'll do looking at a particular problem within the implementations that we've got, or talk about how I want to do a certain thing. I'll take suggestions from people. I will post a note up on the RISC OS forums just to say this is what I plan to do next week, because I don't see much point in trying to continue with this one right now. I can fight it on my own time, or if anybody else wants to have a look into it, because anybody else can work on these things, feel free, because that would be quite nice. Oh, did I even commit it? Did I not commit this? Let's have a look. Okay. Rework part of the icon rendering to try to match classic. The RISC OS classic icons for unfilled text icons with selection have odd coloring. I seem to not get right. Yeah, as I said, people want to just either submit questions to me privately or ask them on the day, but it'd be better if people try and submit them to me beforehand or onto the forums if you want to do a Q&A. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Otherwise, I think I might just wing it if nobody's got anything, and we'll do something random. Yeah, I think that's probably a good plan. All right, speak to you all later. Let me just push that so it's done, and then yeah, I'll post my notes on the forums in a little bit. See you later. Bye.